once again to Talking Toku, Boston's only podcast about Godzilla, Gamera, Ultraman, and all their kaiju friends. I, as always, am your host, David Scrivani.
I'm your co-host, Brian Kershaw.
And we've got a big two-parter episode for you guys. The second part won't come out, for the next 2 weeks, because that's how we do the schedule, but...
At least after the 13th.
Yeah. 14th.
No, it's the 13th.
Are you sure it's the 13th?
I did look it up.
Okay.
It's the 13th.
I'll... Sure.
I promise.
Okay, that's a Thursday.
I'm not lying to you.
13th is a Thursday. It's a weird day to release a movie, but I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I'll believe you for now. Are you looking it up right now? Is that what you're doing? He is. He nodded. Bear with us, folks.
Hold on.
What a great start to this episode.
Well, you're going to cut this out.
Am I?
Of course you are.
I don't know. It might be funnier if I leave it in.
This is a lot of dead time.
It is, but it's time to, give you shit.
I'm really sorry.
For taking so long to find a damn release date.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. What did you Google?
I just looked up. What?
It should not take this long.
Leave me alone.
This is 100% staying in.
Why is this saying... You know what? Just... We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
You should just cut this out.
No, I'm not cutting this out. I might cut it up a little bit, but I'm leaving most of this in.
I don't even know where... Hell?
Anyways, we're doing a big two-parter episode on the Evangelion franchise. Today we're going to be covering Neon Genesis Evangelion.
August 13th.
Shut up. So yeah, we're going to be covering Neon Genesis Evangelion as well as the end of Evangelion today. And then in a couple weeks, we'll be covering the Rebuild series of films. Because at that point, Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0, Thrice Upon a Time, will be out.
What a terrible title.
It's a bit of a jumbled mess.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I'm sure it'll be good, hopefully. But yeah, we'll get to Neon Genesis because I know Brian has some thoughts. I have some thoughts.
Yep.
Most good, I think, for both of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. But before we do that, Brian, do you have any news for me?
No.
No? That's okay.
I never have.
Because you know what? It's been very really slow for news. I have one piece of actual news and one thing that's just not really news but is discussion worthy.
Okay.
So the first piece of news, the only actual piece of real news is that drum roll, hey, guess what? Arrow's doing more Toku stuff.
Yay.
Yeah. So Arrow is going to be, they just announced as part of their October releases, the Yokai Monsters collection. And this is from Arrow, from their press release. From the makers of Daimajin comes a trilogy of terror ripped from the pages of Japanese folklore, with ghosts and monsters from ancient myths and legends brought to life through stunning special effects, alongside an epic big-budget reboot of the series from a modern-day master of the macabre, now available for the first time on Blu-ray. In the first film in the trilogy, 100 Monsters, a greedy slumlord attempts to forcefully evict his tenants, invite the wrath of the titular spirits when a cleansing ritual is botched with terrifying results. The second film, Spook Warfare, tells the tale of an evil Babylonian vampire inadvertently awoken by treasure hunters and a brave samurai that teams with the yokai to defeat the bloodthirsty demon. In the final film, along with Ghosts, released only 12 months after 100 Monsters, the yokai are roused to defend a young girl on the run from deadly yakuza. Decades later, none other than Takashi Miike, who has, in the realm of Toku, has directed a couple episodes of Ultraman Max, but he's probably better known for his films Audition and Ichi the Killer. Helmed The Great Yokai War, a loose remake of Spook Warfare that used cutting-edge digital effects to renew the franchise for a new generation. In it, a young boy is given a grave responsibility to band together with a group of yokai to defend humanity against a vengeful and powerful demon that has sworn retribution against modern-day Japan.
That sounds pretty sick.
It does, and I've never seen any of these movies.
Neither have I.
But I really want to.
Maybe we should watch them.
I would actually, especially The Great Yokai War, I want to watch.
Yeah.
Because Miike right now actually is working on a sequel. I believe it's called The Great Yokai War Guardians, and it's going to have a special guest appearance.
Okay. Who?
What other Toku thing did Arrow just do recently?
Imagine
Dimagin's going to be showing up in Great Yokai War 2.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
My guy.
I know, yeah. It's like everyone like made a big, brouhaha when the trailer for that dropped, and I'm like, I don't think Dimagine just showing up in a separate movie is newsworthy, so I didn't mention it. But now I am mentioning it because Arrow's doing a release for the first movie.
It's awesome, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should watch it and cover it on here.
I think that is also a limited release, so hopefully it won't sell out too quickly. I don't know if Dimagine is still available. I haven't really looked, but we'll see.
Maybe?
I don't know. We'll find out. But yeah, we should watch them at some point and maybe do an episode on them. Who knows?
Yeah. When can you order it?
I think it's on pre-order now.
Pre-order now? Okay.
Yeah. Arrow is pretty good about putting things up for pre-order.
Well, go order it
right from
or
the
don't,
start.
so that I can order it.
Yeah.
Maybe wait until I've done it.
Me too.
Yeah. Yeah, audience.
I
Don't
agree.
go buy it.
Don't buy it until we have given you the go-ahead to buy it. Because once we've given you the go-ahead, that will mean that we have already bought it.
Yep.
So you are free to.
Yeah.
Just as long as there's 2 copies available for me and Brian here, that's all we ask. That really is all we ask.
You see, this is why we should try to do a partnership with Arrow. I mean, we advertise them enough.
We do. We give them a lot of advertisement.
Yeah. Free up until this point.
Up until this point. Listen,
I'm gonna go demand it.
If you, as long as you just send us copies of all your Toku releases, we'll keep advertising them.
We'll put a little box on the top right of our podcast banner on Spotify, so that they know.
Yeah.
People who look at that.
But if you stop doing tokusatsu releases, no, we're done.
Yeah.
We're so sorry, Arrow.
We're going back to Raid Shadow Legends.
Yeah. No matter. I still buy some of the other releases, but actually, I guess if you really want to think about it, I guess RoboCop and American Werewolf in London is kind of Toku.
RoboCop, absolutely.
It's like it's practical effects.
Yeah.
I don't know if practical effects automatically means tokusatsu, but
Probably not.
No. But RoboCop and the whole Metal Hero thing in Japan is very similar.
Yeah.
So
I'll
give RoboCop that.
If we're good at one thing, it's stretching stuff
Oh,
to make it
yes,
make
it
sense.
is. It absolutely is.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on to our other piece of not really news. Pardon my French, but can we please shut the fuck up about a humanless MonsterVerse movie?
Yeah.
For God's sake.
Why has it become like a thing again?
Well, Max Borenstein, who's one of the head writers at Legendary for the MonsterVerse, was asked about that specific thing, and this is the quote he said. Given the success of Godzilla vs. Kong, I'm kind of hoping in whatever the next phase Legendary decides to do that we would see that. I think it'd be pretty cool. I think it is possible. It would be very ambitious. I think ambitious in that Mad Max Fury Road way. I think it's totally possible to do that with the absolute minimum amount of human characters and really characterize the creatures.
All right, so here's the
stop.
thing with that. For anyone who doesn't know, I am a huge Mad Max fan.
Yeah, he won't shut up about it.
Ever since I saw the first movie. Those movies only work because of the people. Mm-hmm. Like if you took Fury Road and took everyone out of that movie and just had like autonomous cars driving around, I wouldn't care. It sucks. It's cool because the people in it are insane and fun to watch.
You said autonomous cars and I started thinking of Pixar's Cars.
Yeah, there you go. Cars, but set in the desert.
I would unironically watch a Mad Max movie, but with like Pixar's Cars.
Yeah.
I would unironically watch that.
That would be sick.
It would be terrible and hilarious.
See, here's the thing. Maybe instead of getting rid of the human characters altogether, maybe just make them better.
Make them better, yeah.
And like fun to watch, because that's been the biggest problem with Legendary, is that they can't make characters that I like. Toho has done it a billion times at this point, and they have a ton of garbage Godzilla movies with terrible characters, but they also have some with really great characters.
See, I maybe we mentioned this on the episode for Godzilla vs. Kong, but I'm going to mention it now again because Max Bornstein himself is talking about it. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't remember. But the thought that, oh, no one watches these for the humans, we only watch it for the monsters is, and I see that from Godzilla fans all the time. That's such a bad take because then you're saying, oh, well, I don't care about any of the like political aspects of the original Godzilla. You know, I don't care about any of the political aspects of Shin Godzilla or Return of Godzilla. Actually, Return of Godzilla, that's no, the human characters in that aren't that great. It's the overarching story in that is good.
Yeah.
But like none of the character drama in Mothra versus Godzilla, Ebra Horror of the Deep, Terror of
Such a good
Mechagodzilla, Godzilla versus Biollante, GMK, both Kiryu movies. You're just, yeah, none of those movies matter. I just want the monster action.
Yep.
It's like, no, the reason people like those movies is because of the well-written human characters.
Yep. Because if you don't have a human character to size up against Godzilla, then you don't really get, like, you don't really understand the weight of the story.
Right.
Because he's like, Godzilla's always the central conflict. There, like, whether there's another monster there or not, he's always the conflict. And if you just have him there as the main character, what's the point of the movie?
Yeah, and people have been talking recently about how the MonsterVerse has been doing a really good job, good in large quotations, of demystifying Godzilla. Because, you know, in 2014, he was this, you know, unknowable creature that no one knew anything about. He was just there somehow. And then when we get into King of the Monsters and Godzilla versus Kong, they're going into like, oh, well, he was a deity and he lives underneath he came from underneath the Earth's crust. And it's like, okay, well, that kind of, you lose some of the charm of the character in you know, giving him a backstory.
Yeah.
You know, in like all the other Godzilla movies, all the backstory was just that he's a giant monster that got mutated due to radiation. And that's all it is. That's all it needs to be.
And then you have Shin Godzilla where they're just like, we don't know.
Well, Shin Godzilla is kind of the same thing.
Kind of the same thing, but I mean, it's still a mystery of what he even is.
It's heavily implied that it was a aquatic life that, because you see those pictures of the radioactive waste barrels with big chunks bitten out of them.
Well, yeah, but still mysterious.
Point is, I feel like a humanless MonsterVerse movie would just completely take out all the charm of Godzilla.
Yeah,
he would just be a big monster.
That's when we're going to be heading into the realm of Transformers movies, and I don't want that. And that's probably one of like my biggest fears for the MonsterVerse is that it just turns into Transformers.
Yeah, and hey, I don't mind some of the Transformers movies. Bumblebee, we can probably agree on, is fantastic.
It's all right.
I kind of like the first Michael Bay film.
I don't.
I enjoy it for this little bit of nostalgia purposes, and also I do think some of it's charming.
I think it's really trashy.
Yeah, but that's kind of why I like it.
I know, but it's just too trashy. I can't watch it.
That's how I feel about Revenge of the Fallen. That movie is just...
I mean, okay, here's the thing. The first one is like trashy.
Yeah.
And then the rest of them are like, I can't watch this trashy.
I think the third one isn't terrible. I think the third one's the best out of all of them, I think.
I just can't watch them. I've tried.
That's fair. We're going to probably have to watch them for the podcast, Brian.
Or you're going to have to Venmo me money to go buy some really nice liquor.
Okay.
So that I can drink it
All
over
right.
a Discord call.
Okay.
And you can hear my suffering.
I mean, they're doing Beast Wars next, and it's not Michael Bay directing it, so it might actually be good. And Ron Perlman's is voicing Optimus Primal.
Yeah, but we still have like 6 trash movies.
Yeah, I know.
Or something like
and
that.
And one good movie.
To get through. Yeah.
It's fine. We'll figure it out.
That ratio is not good.
Point is, Please don't make a MonsterVerse movie with just monsters as the characters. That's such a terrible idea.
Yeah, I also
it will get so old so quickly. See here, this is what I think. The only conceivable way this could work is if it is a short film, not a feature film. If it's like a short film done like, National Geographic documentary style, I think that could be really cool. But I don't want to see 2 hours of Godzilla doing his thing.
Yeah, I don't.
That just sounds boring to me.
Yeah, it sounds really boring. I feel like
I'm so exhausted of this controversy.
I feel like the people who ask for this thing are like a smaller group than we actually think they are.
They're very vocal.
Yeah. It's often how this goes is that the people asking for something stupid are just really like super fucking loud.
Yeah.
And they don't shut up. Like
cough, cough, Star Wars.
Yeah. Like I feel like a lot of people know that it's a terrible idea. Mm-hmm. But like then you have like people who just don't understand how movies function or how Godzilla movies function. And they're just like, I have good ideas. I'm gonna backseat direct.
Hey, what did everyone like about Jurassic Park? Just the dinosaurs? No, it was all the characters as well as the dinosaurs. They meshed together.
Maybe Jurassic World Dominion's
You
gonna do away with all the characters.
You want to imagine Jurassic Park without Alan Grant or Ian Malcolm or anyone? No.
I mean,
it would be a bad movie.
You could feasibly make that movie with just Ian Malcolm.
That's how we got The Lost World, Brian.
Oh, that's right.
That's what happened with The Lost World.
But I mean, like, just him.
Just him.
Just him.
No dinosaurs.
Just him on the island.
Just hanging out.
Just hanging out.
You know what? I'd watch that.
Yeah, same.
But not for 2 hours.
No. Maybe like an hour.
A 30-minute Animal Planet special. That's how I'd watch it.
They're just watching.
They're just watching Jeff Goldblum on the island, hanging out.
Yeah. I'd watch it, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Jeff Goldblum versus Godzilla.
I feel like Jeff Goldblum wouldn't fight, though. He's not a fighter.
No, that's why he'd like talk Godzilla down because he's a lover. And we all know that deep down somewhere Godzilla's a lover too.
Godzilla is a father.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw some funny meme the other day, and I can't remember what it was about Godzilla being a father, and it was comparing it to someone else, and I don't remember who it was, and it's gonna drive me nuts now. Damn.
Well, just find it later and then record yourself after the fact, and then cut it in right.
Cut it in right here.
Cut it in right here.
Okay, cool. You know what?
Okay, cool, Dave.
Thanks for the support, Brian.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. I'm gonna try to find it on Twitter real quick. Well, hopefully, it won't take too long. I'm pretty sure I hit like on the tweet. Oh yeah, here it is. I did retweet it.
Wow,
this is a lot funnier than I thought, and I remember it being.
Wow.
It was a picture here. I'll show you. It's a picture of Godzilla doing the dance from Invasion of Master Monster, and then a picture of John Lennon doing a similar dance. And the guy I followed retweets it saying Godzilla was debatably the better father.
Yeah. Not wrong.
No, not in the least. John Lennon's dead, so fuck you, John Lennon. I can talk shit about you.
Yeah, talk shit about dead people.
Yeah,
do it.
He's been dead. He died in like the 80s. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm sure he won't come back to haunt you or anything.
I don't fucking care.
He probably haunts a lot of people because so many people talk trash about him.
Yeah. Well, he didn't speak to his son for like 20 years.
Yeah,
because he didn't want anything to do with him. Sucks, man. I don't care.
It does suck. You're
Fuck
right.
you, John Lennon.
I'm not doubting that. Yeah.
This is a great episode so far.
Yeah, we're just off the rails today.
All right, let's get back onto our main topic of Neon Genesis Evangelion, the iconic anime from Hideaki Anno.
The iconic mecha anime.
Yeah.
Yeah. That apparently revitalized the series, the genre, and I had no idea
because it was something different. It was a deconstruction of the genre.
Yeah,
And that's why people were like, whoa, this is pretty cool.
I did a little bit of research about it.
You did research?
I did a little bit of research on it, and I learned that it was like revitalizing.
You learned things
for the genre because it was like so stagnant.
Yeah.
People were bored of it.
Exactly.
And then
it's almost like the monster kaiju movies are doing the same thing now.
And they broke it down. They're like, hey, let's make it like weird and different.
Yeah.
And sad.
Yeah.
And everyone's really upset.
Sad.
Everyone's really upset all the time.
Everyone in this series is so fucked up.
Yeah.
So fucked up.
Especially an end of Evangelion.
Yeah.
Lord.
So where do you want to start with Evangelion, Brian? Like, do you want to just give like a quick, breakdown of like what you thought?
Yeah, I don't want to spoil the show.
I just feel like it's gonna be hard to do that. Talk about it and not do that.
I feel like we should try to talk about it without, giving away a lot, because I have actually talked to a lot of people.
But if we're gonna talk about End of Evangelion, how are we gonna not spoil it?
That's fair. I don't want to spoil a lot of it. Maybe some of it. We can give maybe a little bit of a warning. I don't know.
Okay. We'll try.
We'll have a spoiler section.
Okay.
If you want to do that.
We can do a non-spoiler and a spoiler section, even though the series is over, 30 years old now.
I know, but here's the thing: is that I've talked to a lot of people.
Okay.
About like this show, like how I'm covering it. And they don't know what Evangelion is. A lot of them have heard of what it is, but have never watched it. And it was surprising because I always thought that it was like this huge thing.
Well, it is.
But it's huge in Japan.
It's huge. Here's the thing. It is huge in the US because I feel like along with the Dragon Ball franchise and Pokemon, Evangelion was kind of one of those series that really broke anime into the mainstream in the States. That is something to be like, oh, this is like an actual, like, this is something that you can like take seriously. It's not like some goofy stuff.
No, I definitely get that. Like, it's got a big presence here, but like I've talked to like my sister, my cousin, they all like anime and stuff, but they've never heard of this at all. And I suspect because they're like new anime fans, like because anime itself has kind of gone through this like big surge in popularity recently. And by recently, I mean like 5-10 years.
Yeah. Because it's been so much more easier to access.
Yeah, so you have a lot of like new fans who like are just getting into the medium and they don't know what all like the big like goalposts, I guess, were for the genre. And even I guess a lot of people just missed out on Evangelion. So you have all these new fans that just don't know what it is.
Interesting.
So all the people that I've talked to that know what Evangelion is and have watched it are people who are like 30 or people like you.
What's that supposed to mean, Brian?
It just means that people who were originally around for it kind of know.
I didn't watch it until when I was in high school.
But because you were just a fan of kaiju stuff in general, and also
I explicitly watched it because I knew Hideaki Anno was directing Shin Godzilla, and I'm like, I should watch Evangelion to see what kind of weird, crazy stuff I'm getting into before I see Shin Godzilla.
See, I think you told me the same thing, and I had too much pride to watch it because I just thought anime was stupid. But here I am. And my life has been ruined because of you.
I made this joke to you last week, but surprise everyone, this is the episode where Brian becomes a weeb.
I am definitely not a weeb.
Are you sure about that?
Definitely not.
Brian, you have Mecha Godzilla in Japanese tattooed on your arm.
That is true.
I think that automatically makes you a weeb.
I am not a weeb. Okay, but let's get into the series here.
Yeah.
You want to do quick thoughts, like quick plot summary, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to do that?
I mean, I can give the real bare bones one.
Yeah. I mean, I would probably, that's all I could do too, because I watched it, but I didn't watch it.
Yeah, okay. So kind of the deal with this series is it's like 15 years after this like huge cataclysmic event called the Second Impact, which was like, I don't know, I think they framed it as like it was a big meteor hitting Antarctica or something, and it wiped out like a huge percentage of all life on Earth and turned a bunch of oceans red and stuff.
Yeah.
And super, like, pretty cool setting. Creepy. And then I don't, like, it was because of something else that happened, but it was just framed as a meteor. Anyways, so then the story itself takes place in Tokyo 3. I don't know where's Tokyo 2? Is it dead?
Probably.
Okay.
I mean,
Well, it takes place in Tokyo 3.
there's a lot of destruction across the entire world, so like I wouldn't put it past them that Tokyo 2 is also just
Gone.
destroyed.
Yeah. But so it takes place in Tokyo 3 and follows the main character Shinji.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember his last name.
Ikari.
Yep, there you go. And he's like really sad all the time. And he, along with two other kids.
Really sad all the time is an understatement.
Yeah, and him along with two other kids, Rei and Asuka.
I think but the thing is, she's not Japanese.
Yeah,
she's German.
She's German-Japanese.
So like, I don't know if Asuka is the correct pronunciation with that. It might be Asuka.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So yeah, they pilot the Evangelion units, which are mechs, but are they?
No, definitely not just mechs.
They're not just mechs.
They're definitely biological in nature.
I actually have a really funny story about that, but I guess I'll save it for the spoiler section.
Okay.
So hopefully I'll remember, or hopefully you will remind me.
Okay. Yeah, so then they fight angels, which are like the central bad things in central monsters of this series, and they're like really cool. they're probably some of my favorite monster designs in anything.
Yeah, they're. I don't know if this was it was probably intentional, but like I almost think this is like the closest we've gotten to like the biblical angels in like terms of design.
Yeah.
Because you see memes all the time about how like weird and terrifyingly abstract biblical angels are. Mm-hmm. But like I feel like this is the closest we've ever seen.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, they're super like outlandish and bizarre and like definitely just like alien. Like aliens, but like when you think of just like unknowable beings that you don't even know what their intentions are, or if they even have the same intentions or concepts that we do. And I think they even bring that up sometimes. Like they like one of the, I think it might have been like one of the who's like the blonde scientist lady,
Ritsuko.
Yeah, she like questioned if they even have like the same concept of like, I think it's like conquering or something that we do, or something like that. So I love stuff like that personally. I just like unknowable kind of alien stuff.
Yeah,
it's cool. That's really the gist of the show. I mean, everyone's just carrying around like dump trucks of baggage.
Yeah.
It's really a show about everyone being just all over the place.
Yeah.
That's I didn't really expect it to be as depressing as it was.
I think that's why like it was such a hit, because people went in expecting this like, fun giant robot versus giant monster anime, and then they got this heaping helping of,
introspection.
This is how we deal with, depression and learning to, gaining self-worth.
Yeah.
It
was I feel like you could take anyone and then you can like introduce them to this show and they're going to identify with someone in terms of like problems, like how we deal with stuff. Like it's weird. I usually don't say that about media, because I feel like it's often you have a character with very specific problems and not everyone can identify with it. But for the people that do, it means a lot. But with this, I feel like all the characters have such varied issues that you could really get anyone and they'd be like, hey, I do that sometimes.
Absolutely,
yeah. Which is really, really cool. And from what I understand is because Hideaki Anno, like when he wrote the show, was like really depressed.
Yes, he was.
Like, and he wrote these characters as kind of like extensions of what he was going through or something like that. Mm-hmm. And so like all these characters are like parts of like what he was going through and different
which given how messed up some of these characters are, I cannot imagine how he was feeling at that time.
Yeah. So I feel like, with that being, with the show being made with that in mind and all that, like it's really special, honestly. If you had taken all that stuff out of it, this show would have not been the same.
No, it would have been just another generic mecha anime.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, the mech designs are incredible. And, as far as I know, they're like up before this, it was just like very like blocky kind of
like the
mecha,
the Gundam
Gundam
style.
stuff. But now we have like these sleek, angular kind of like, glowy dudes, tall. They're really
Tall.
they
They are very, very lanky.
they're very lanky. They're cool.
Yeah.
So this show is. I can see why it was like so impactful, and I give anime a lot of shit, but I fucking love this show.
He's a weeb, everyone. He's a weeb.
I fucking love it.
I need to bring up what you said to me multiple times.
Yeah.
Multiple times I received a message reading, "Fuck you for getting me into this."
Yeah.
That just makes me laugh every time I think about it.
I was going through some feelings. Yeah.
But so should we get into spoiler territory now then?
Yeah, I mean,
or-
it is really hard to talk about this show
Yeah.
without spoiling it. So for anyone who hasn't watched it, please go watch it.
Yeah.
It's on Netflix. I know that the Netflix version has some stuff changed around for the American dub, but if you can watch it in Japanese with subtitles, just do that. It's really good.
I would say if you can find the original, because the subtitles are different.
Oh, I
on the
did
Netflix
hear.
one too.
Oh, okay.
If you can find the original, I want to say it's Funimation, but I could be wrong. If you can find the original Funimation version, dub or sub, doesn't matter. I would watch that version.
You can probably find it somewhere.
That's I'm
Very expensive.
because Evangelion wasn't available for the longest time, like on physical media either. I mean, it still isn't in the States.
Oh,
So
yikes.
people figured out how to watch it though, and if you look hard enough, you don't even have to look hard to find
Yeah.
it. It's easy to find at this point.
Well, I watched the Netflix one.
Yeah, because that's the easiest way to find it, but you do lose just a teensy bit of some of the more. My brain is not good today. I can't think of words.
controversial
Nuances.
Nuances.
That's the word. So
you
you
go.
do lose a little bit of the nuances in the series if you're watching the Netflix version, but that's okay. I'll mention that briefly because I watched the original version again back in high school, so it's been a number of years. I only
Okay.
remember really one thing about it that they changed for the Netflix version that, to be fair, is kind of a bigger thing, but they do go over it more in this movie here, Evangelion 3.33, you cannot redo. But we'll cover that next week. Kaworu's fucking gay.
Yeah. I
That's,
mean, I picked
that's
up on
that's
that.
the main thing. But like in the when they brought it to Netflix, the guy who was in charge of subtitling it, like, he changed it to be like, oh no, he's just really good friends with Shinji.
No, I definitely picked up that he was gay.
Yeah, no,
For
absolutely.
sure. And I didn't like for a while I was thinking like it seems like they're not committing to this.
Yeah,
so that's
'cause Netflix
probably
sucks.
That's probably what
They didn't want to commit to it, but it was
Yeah.
kind of baked into the show's DNA.
It seemed very apparent, but so I knew something was up there. But it's good to know that it was just Netflix instead of bad writing.
yeah.
So.
So, anyways, the funny thing I had earlier about the Evas, my good pal Tom Mancini, who is 100% a weeb. He won't shut up about anime ever.
Oh.
We tried to get him to watch Evangelion, but he has this weird thing where he doesn't watch mainstream stuff,
Okay.
which is weird to me, but okay. Yeah, so we showed him, I think, like the first 3 episodes of Evangelion, and he was just rattling off random shit about like what he thinks was gonna happen, and it was me, him, and our friend Giovanni, who was the one who got me into Evangelion. And Tom was like, "Oh, I bet Unit 1's his mom or something." And me and Giovanni just had to like stay quiet.
Yeah.
And then he left, and we just kind of looked at each other like,
Oh my god.
it's like we couldn't say anything.
How did he even surmise that after 3 episodes?
He absolutely did not surmise it. He definitely just was making shit up as he went.
Because
there was that early into the show, there was absolutely no way you could even conceive that that's the case.
Also, there are like a billion people who are Shinji's mom.
There's that too. But the fact that he just randomly just happened to hit the nail on the head so perfectly after seeing like only a handful of episodes,
that's so
is just
weird.
So funny to me.
That's pretty funny.
Because Unit 1 is like Shinji's mom's soul.
Yeah. Also, when you are cutting the episode, because we didn't really do the spoiler warning.
Well, we said we were like, oh, let's talk about spoilers.
Okay. Well, we'll just make it a little bit more apparent.
Okay, I'll do it.
Put in some big sirens or something.
Yeah, I did that for that drama thing.
Just take
that transphobe guy.
Take the Evangelion scream when they go berserk, and then just like put it in there.
I gotta tell you, man, that is like one of the most unsettling sounds.
It is.
Like when I first watched the series back in high school, the scene close to the end where Unit 1 goes berserk and is devouring Unit 3.
Yeah.
And like there's that one shot where it's eating it and it looks back to the camera and has those like those very circular glowing white eyes. It's chilling. It's really unsettling. Like, I
agree. Yeah.
I'm a little uncomfortable watching this right now.
Yeah. No, that shit's creepy for sure.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, it's that the sound they make is it's kind of like the foghorn in the lighthouse.
I was gonna say it's a lot like a foghorn.
Yeah, and it's just the fact that it's a living creature, quote unquote.
See, here's what I kind of like thought that when I was thinking about it, and I was just thinking about like why it sounds like that because it's so creepy.
Mm-hmm.
It is a robot with like no function to be able to make noise like that, and it's still making noise like that, and that's what creeps me out.
Yeah,
because it's just a robot with like, I mean, we don't even really know. I mean, there's a living being in there, but a lot of it's mechanical still.
I don't think you ever really get a concrete explanation as to what the Evas are.
I think that from like the kind of like the little bit that they talked about it, because even at the end of the show, you don't really know entirely what they are, but from like kind of what I picked up on is that angels are kind of like humans that could have been or whatever, but they're not. And then Evas are kind of like angels. So they're kind of like synthetically grown angels that are kind of kept in place by this armor, and then they're just Evas. I don't know.
Maybe. I have no idea.
That's kind of what I picked up on from the information that they give you.
So I mentioned that I watched the show, but I didn't. And like I said, I've seen the show twice before, once in high school, and then again when Netflix dropped it on there. But to do this podcast, I was like, I don't have time to watch a 26-episode show plus a movie. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to watch Death and Rebirth. So Neon Genesis Evangelion Death and Rebirth was a film that came out shortly before the end of Evangelion. All it was like, it was the first 24 episodes compressed into one film, meant to be watched as like a recap before you go see End of Evangelion. And so Netflix has a version of that, because so it was in two parts. It was Death and Rebirth. And so Death was the recap, and then Rebirth was like, I think like the first 20 minutes of End of Eva. So Netflix has Neon Genesis Evangelion Death True Squared. So I'm like, okay, I'll just watch this, so I don't have to watch a 26-episode anime in one day. As you can clearly tell by how we've been talking about this, I really enjoy Neon Genesis Evangelion, the anime series. Death True Squared is a piece of shit. Because it's an hour long, and you are condensing a 24 episode series into an hour-long film. That's already kind of a
Stretch.
it's a bit of a monumental task.
Yeah.
But the editing is atrocious.
Oh, okay.
It's like so weird and disjointed and at sometimes out of chronological order. Like you find out the truth about Rey before we even meet Asuka.
What?
And because that comes near the end of the show.
What the fuck?
I don't know what is going up with Death. It's so. I really like. This is the first time I've ever seen like an Evangelion thing. And I'm like, I did not like that.
Yeah.
I did not like that.
No.
And it's like, you're supposed to watch this before End of Evangelion as a refresher, and it's like, I think I came out of Death True Squared
more confused
I had less of an understanding of the series than I did going in. It's like that's contrary to the point of this film's existence.
Yeah.
What happened here?
I'm glad I didn't watch it.
Yeah, you should be. You should watch it because I want to know what your thoughts are on how bad it is.
Well, here's the thing. When I was watching all of them, I just kind of looked at it and I'm like, I probably don't need this.
Okay.
And then I just watched End of Evangelion, which was great.
End of Evangelion is unironically one of the best animated films of all time.
Yeah.
I think. And I think a lot of people would agree on that.
Yeah. Well, as for the show, circling back to it.
Yes.
Other thoughts on it?
It good.
Yeah, it is good. I wanted to talk to you about the music.
Oh, Shiro Sugisu is a goddamn genius, man.
I think I told you, I like messaged you about it, and I had finished the show, and then like a couple days later I said, all right, I've listened to every single Evangelion soundtrack and I can't stop.
Because there are at least 3. I don't know if they're all on Spotify, but there are at least 3 of them.
I said I listened to all of them for the show to be able to talk about it because I really like talking about soundtracks and movies. And then I just said I couldn't stop listening to it. I couldn't stop. It is probably some of my favorite music for anything ever. It's really good.
It is really good.
And it's like so varied. Like you have like these really like chill like blues tracks, like jazz kind of stuff, and then you have like this really sick like action music. And the music from the Rebuild movies is also really good, but we'll get to that later.
And it's all Shiro Sugisu. It's all the same composers.
Yeah, and a lot of the music is the same across the series, End of Evangelion, and then the Rebuild movies. They use a lot of the same soundtracks, and the same pieces of music. But the soundtrack for the show is really good. Really good.
That's another thing. The Netflix thing changed. The ending theme is different. Oh, because the ending theme on the Netflix version is that like kind of creepy sounding piano track. Yeah. In the original version, it's a cover of, I don't know if it's Frank Sinatra is the original artist, but he's the one everyone knows the song for. It's a cover of Frank Sinatra's "Fly Me to the Moon."
Oh, you know what? I actually listened to the...
Yeah, because that's on Spotify.
I listened to Fly Me to the Moon, yeah.
Yeah, and it's by the Yoko Takahashi, I think her name is, who did the opening theme.
Yep. That's a great song.
It is a great song. And the fact... I understand, like, it was a rights thing. They couldn't get the rights to use the song, which sucks, but it's still a loss.
Yeah. Hold on. The title music, the
Cruel Angel's
Thesis, is unironically one of the best pieces of music I've ever listened to. It is so criminally catchy.
I keep joking about how Brian's a weeb, and that is not a sentence I ever thought I would ever hear from his mouth.
Shut up. It's so criminally catchy. I hate you.
And I have it on vinyl, Brian. How do you feel about that?
Fucking hate you. It is so catchy. I was just like in the shower the other day and I was just like thinking about that song.
No, people like that is like,
that song has 30 million listens.
As it should.
On Spotify.
As it should.
30 million is like the size of like the population of this state.
The entire state of Massachusetts has listened to Cruel Angel's Thesis.
I'd probably have like at least 100 times at this point.
Oh my God.
No, not really. I probably listened to it like maybe
God, you are a weeb.
I probably have listened to it probably like 10 times in total.
But yeah, no, that song constantly shows up on like, oh, the best anime openings of all time lists.
I mean, I can see why.
Yeah, no, it's a very, very good opening.
Yeah. I mean, like, you know, there's not really like for the show, like they're all like standout tracks for me because they're all like so well defined. I think like the Ray music is really good. The stuff they use for Ray, that piano is
that's
really
Ray's theme.
really good. But then like you have like the Hedgehog Dilemma, which is probably like the standout for me just because of how great it sounds. And then there's the one after that. I think
I know absolutely none of them by name, so
there's like another one. I can't remember it. If you listen to it on Spotify, it's the one after Hedgehog Dilemma.
Okay.
It's really good. But I mean, like, all the music is great. So I mean, that's what I wanted to talk about, really. The music for End of Evangelion is really good, like really, really good. And there's a song at the end of the movie that's really, really catchy.
is that the one where during when the instrumentality project is happening?
Yes.
So I texted you about this because I have the Evangelion Finally vinyl, which is songs from Death Rebirth, End of Evangelion, and I believe Evangelion 1.11, You Cannot Advance. I don't know why just that one, because it came out this year, so You Are Not Alone is the first one, sorry. You Cannot Advance. So it has songs from You Are Not Alone. But the fact that they don't have the songs from You Cannot Advance and You Cannot Redo seems weird to me, considering the album came out this year.
Maybe it was like in development hell for a bit.
I don't know. It's a soundtrack.
Yeah, but I mean, like, what if like work got stopped on it and they just didn't have time to re-record the music or whatever?
You Cannot Redo has been out since 2012.
I don't know. I'm just coming up with excuses. Trying to be nice.
No.
Anyways, go ahead. What were you saying?
I don't remember.
You're saying something about.
Oh yeah, I texted you because I was listening to that when I was packing for vacation last week, and it's like, wow, listening to these songs that are playing when everyone's turning into LCL, like out of context, it's very weird to hear out of context.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of the song, but
I don't remember it either.
But it like sounds really like upbeat, but it's not.
It's like really not.
It's really not.
Not in the least.
That is a really good piece of music. I don't remember what the name of the song was. I don't even remember the artist, but that song was really good. What else? Yeah, I mean that's my thought on the music is that it's damn good, and listen to it.
Should we talk about both endings?
Yeah, we can talk about both endings because I remember that you told me to watch the last two episodes because apparently a bunch of people don't like them.
Yes.
And to also watch End of Evangelion.
Yes.
And I liked the last two episodes. I thought they were.
So do I.
I thought that they were. I mean, obviously you could tell that they were stretched for time and money.
No, it wasn't time. It was 100%. It was money.
It was money. Okay.
They went way over budget with the animation, so they had to. So they were not able to do like a big bombastic ending.
Okay.
That they wanted to do.
I still think that the ending was pretty good, though. I mean, like I understood what the ending was.
Yeah.
It was the
Human Instrumentality Project. Yep.
And it's basically just everyone is put into I don't know, like I mean like they.
I mean, the important thing to understand is that like during the last two episodes, Shinji, he overcomes his self-doubt and learns to accept himself for who he is. That's why there's that scene at the end where everyone's like congratulating him.
Yeah. Instead of him like deriving worth from other people and what they think of him.
Yeah.
Which I think is a lesson that a lot of people need to learn.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the point of the last two episodes. But then End of Evangelion is supposed to be like the why did that happen kind of thing.
So as I understand it, like all the stuff that happens in the last two episodes is happening concurrently with End of Evangelion. Like all that's like happening obviously in Shinji's head as all this other wild, crazy stuff is happening in the real world.
which is very wild.
That's an understatement.
Yeah. But yeah, I really like the last 2 episodes. I think that seeing Shinji come to that realization was really nice, and it was a good end to the show. I don't know why anyone would really be mad at it. I think
I understand why people would be upset, because it is such a departure from what we've seen. Like,
yeah,
it like there was a lot of introspective stuff in the series up to that point, but this is like
very
way down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And we've been building it's been building to this finale, and then to not get that like crazy finale, I understand why people are upset. Sending death threats to Hideaki Anno was not the way to go about it, but it's in the past.
But
it
then
was
jokes
over 20
on them
years ago.
because he included those death threats and shit.
That's right, he did. I forgot about that. I forgot he did that.
Yeah, that was there was
the ultimate call out post.
Yeah, it honestly was. Yeah, that's not okay.
No,
I mean, sending death threats and
in any
or anything like that to creators is just not. It's counterproductive.
Yeah.
For one, it was not his fault. It was Money's fault.
Yeah.
For one.
What would you rather have? Would you rather see the end of Evangelion done in like that weird sketchy style they had to sometimes in those last 2 episodes?
It was pretty cool.
It was cool, but would you want to watch a whole movie like that?
No.
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, that would not be good.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And nowadays, Anno's in everyone's good graces, so it's in the past.
He's made a lot of good stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. I actually sent you a video about it was a Super Bunny Hop Super Bunny Hop video about the about how much Neon Genesis Evangelion is in Metal Gear Solid.
I did not watch that.
And I didn't really send it to you for the how they connect to each other, but I sent it to you because of like how Hideaki Anno and who's the Metal Gear guy? I forget his name.
Hideo Kojima.
How they both were like treated exactly the same for like
really,
because Anno got all those like death threats and shit, and Kojima got a lot of death threats for like making really bad Metal Gear endings.
Oh, probably because of what is it? What's the second? I never remember the title of the second one.
Metal Gear Solid. It was like I don't know. It was the second game.
Yeah. I know what I'm trying to. Guns of the Patriots is the 4th one.
I think so. Yeah.
What is the second one? I can never remember.
I don't remember.
Because I always think it's Guns of the Patriots, but no, that's Metal Gear Solid 4.
I can look it up.
Call Josh. I know he's in the other room. If I yell loud enough. Sons of Liberty.
Oh yeah.
Sons of Liberty. That's what it is.
Yeah. So I just thought that was a interesting connection about how that's very common.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that.
And really sad. But also in that video, it really dawned on me how fucking popular Evangelion is in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he pointed out that they have, like, the Evangelion jingle, like, on trains, and not even the special Evangelion trains, but, like, the regular trains. And I was just like, wow. I wish America had stuff like that.
Yeah. We don't get anything cool.
No, we just get the same announcer at the T stop.
I mean, I think when Alien Covenant was coming out, they had trains like painted all black on the inside. And
I did see that. That movie sucked.
Yeah, it did.
Oof. Anyways, want to talk about end of Evangelion?
Shinji sexually assaulted Asuka.
Yeah. That was not what I was expecting.
I think the Netflix version changed that line as well. Because what does he say? He says, "I'm the lowest of the low."
Yeah.
In the original version, he goes, "I'm so fucked up," which I think is a better line.
Yeah, I actually did. I don't remember why, but I remember seeing. I think it was on Reddit, and I was just like reading a post about it, and someone said that they changed it, and it used to be "I'm so fucked up" or something. That was not expected.
No,
and I was really. I was like, what the fuck?
Keep in mind, these are literal kids. They're like 14.
Yeah. That was not something I really wanted to see.
What? You don't want to see a 14-year-old jerking off onto a 15-year-old, Brian? Why
No,
not? Why not?
I don't. That's really fucking cringe.
I mean, it's Japan. Things are a little different over there. I understand that.
Yeah, I did. Because I had to like, you know me. I'm very like gross. Like fuck that. I'm done. But I had to like stop myself for a minute and be like, well, this is just a movie.
Yeah.
And up until this point, this show has been really fucked up in general. Mm-hmm. So maybe just roll with it for now and deal with it. And yeah, I don't really know why they put that in the movie other than to show that Shinji is still kind of fucked up.
Mm-hmm. I think that is the reason.
I'm kind of glad they didn't really do that in the Rebuild movies.
I mean, I think at this point, like, that scene has been memed to death now.
Yeah.
So, like, even if that wasn't the case, like, I understand not putting it in.
I just don't really see the point of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm sure someone out there is going to be like, oh, there's great story significant. I don't care. It's gross.
Listen, you can if you look closely at the semen on his hand.
I just don't. It just doesn't really add anything at all. Yeah.
No, not really.
Okay. Yeah. I'm glad you agree with me.
It doesn't really help that she's comatose at the time, too.
Yeah, that is also really bad. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we gotta cancel Shinji Ikari.
We do. Yeah. Okay. Well, the rest of the movie is really good though. Mm-hmm. If you cut out that part, be really good. The fight between Unit 02 and the mass-produced angels
Evas.
Evas. They look like angels.
They do.
That is probably some of the best animation I've seen.
Really well animated
in my entire life. It was really good. I love the way that the swords that they're using have like this sense of just they're heavy as shit. Mm-hmm. Them devouring Unit 02 is some of the gnarliest shit I've seen since like the end of Evil Dead 1.
And that's saying something.
Yeah, and the finale of the movie is just off the walls crazy. I assume that everyone loves it because that's the ending they were looking for.
Most likely, yeah.
But it's kind of nuts. You get Giant Rei.
Yep.
Who I don't think we mentioned at this point, but Rei is
also Shinji's mom.
Rei is also Shinji's mom.
She's not totally a clone.
She's kind of a clone.
She's an empty vessel that Gendo Ikari, Shinji's father, put the soul of Shinji's mother Yui into. Yeah. Similar to Unit 1.
Yeah, and but then she kind of kills Gendo.
Yeah,
like badly, and because she's like I'm my own person or whatever.
Yeah,
and then she gets really big, and then she kills everybody. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
And then it's only Shinji and Asuka left alive.
That is some really good animation work too. I just like seeing the giant like cross explosions all over the entire Earth. That's pretty cool. Yeah, a lot of stuff like that, like the like when angels like they do attacks and they result in explosions and they're like just crosses. I think stuff like that is like really cool and charming. And I didn't really talk about the angel designs or anything like that, but it's really just the entire aesthetic of the show. You know, you have all these like really biblical things and like terms and you know items and stuff, and it's really cool. You know, I just go watch the show honestly because I'm not going to break it all down. But
that's what this whole podcast is, Brian. We're breaking it down.
True. Well,
not really.
I mean, we can.
This would be like a 3-hour podcast if we tried to break the whole show down.
We can talk about.
I don't know what the hell a Dead Sea Scroll is.
Yeah, that's stuff that's kind of like. I feel like there's a lot of stuff in the show and in End of Evangelion that's just never explained. Mm-hmm. Dead Sea Scroll, they throw that around.
I'm sure there's like a video somewhere like Evangelion lore explained.
Yeah, it's like the Dark Souls community where they just make videos on something that you can read in like 5 minutes and they stretch it out to like 3 hours long. Yeah. Looking at you, Vadi.
Don't give Vadi shit. He's a good guy.
Yeah, I know he is. Anyways, so yeah, I mean, the movie, really good. I think that if Evangelion just ended there forever, it would be pretty satisfying. It's a really good movie. The end is, I mean, a lot of the end is weird. It's just Shinji and
It's certainly bittersweet.
it's just Shinji and Asuka left.
Everyone else in the world
And
is all LCL.
Everyone else is LCL, and Rey turned into a giant head.
Yeah, that split apart.
Very weird imagery. It is bittersweet, and I don't really know how I feel about it. But then the Rebuild movies came along, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, this is how it's going, I guess.
Yeah,
I mean, everyone
yeah.
died. Like,
Well, they didn't die.
well, okay, here's the thing. So I did read like someone's opinion on the ending, and they said that if you stretch the word happy, you could say that it is kind of a happy ending.
that would be a very large stretch.
Well, because from what I understand is that like humans themselves are like I think they're like the 18th angel or something. Mm-hmm. And they have an AT field, but it's just how people are separated, and and that's them being like their own person and stuff. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. But then the point of the end of the show is that those AT fields are gone, and now they're just a giant ocean of LCL. And so now they are together, and like they don't have like a boundary.
They're all kind of one.
They're like a collective.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, for some people is appealing to be a collective and not be separated.
But I think you and I are both introverts, so I don't think we'd vibe with that.
Yes. But to the persons who I read there, it was just some anon on Reddit. Mm-hmm. But what they were arguing is that like it is kind of like a benevolent thing, because you know everyone in life goes through hurdles of being separate, or you know, separated from others, and loneliness.
Yeah.
And now all of humanity is like together, and that's kind of good if you stretch the idea of what you think living is about. I personally enjoy being my own person,
as do I,
separated from others. But again, I mean, it's up to interpretation, which a running theme on this podcast is that we love stuff that's up for interpretation. It's great.
It is.
So, I mean, that's kind of like how I feel on the ending. I think that it can be happy or sad depending on how you look at it. Mm-hmm. I mean, it would suck for Shinji and Asuka, or whoever you say her name. I'm going to have a hard time no matter what, because they're the only two people left, and Shinji kind of sucks. Yeah.
Kind of.
I mean, they both kind of suck.
They do, because
they're again carrying around, you know, dump trucks.
I feel like Asuka's a little more fucked up than Shinji.
Yeah, dump trucks worth of baggage.
So we really only covered what's wrong with Shinji. We didn't talk about how anyone else is fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to go through everyone, but we can talk about like the main people.
Yeah, I mean, Asuka, you know, walked in on her mother's hanged corpse.
Yeah, and then her mother tried to coerce her into also killing herself, which is really bad. For obvious reasons.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that's pretty obvious.
And so she, you know, carrying around that, and then also some other like familial stuff as well, like, you know,
and you know, superiority complex, or inferiority complex rather.
Yep. And then we have Masato, who is a really great character.
Masato might be my favorite character.
She's really great. I mean, my favorite character is Pen.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. That's kind of I feel like that should be the universal answer.
Yeah. Masato was the only survivor of the second impact, and she was like really fucked up for a while, but then she kind of, I don't know.
I can't remember where I saw this, but I swear to God I have seen it somewhere. And I thought it may have been in the Rebuild films, but then I watched the Rebuild films again and it was not there. So I really don't know where I got this. But I could have sworn I saw somewhere that living through the second impact, her injuries. I don't remember where I saw or read this, but I'm like 80% sure I saw somewhere that Misato's injuries from the second impact made her infertile.
I think you're right. I think that
I can't remember where I saw it though.
I think it was in the show somewhere.
But when I watched the show a couple years ago and it dropped on Netflix, I didn't see any mention of it anywhere, so I got confused.
I don't know. I thought I saw it. I thought that was in the show because I also knew about that. I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. But I mean, like she also had issues with like her dad.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of daddy issues in this show.
There are, yeah.
A lot of them.
Oh yeah.
Turns out being a shitty dad really fucks up kids.
Yeah, so anyone who's gonna become a father soon, be a good father.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't touch on how shitty Shinji's dad is.
Oh,
Gendo.
Again, fuck Gendo.
Gendo sucks.
Gendo does suck.
He's a lot like Shinji, but worse. As in, he like kills other people for his own gain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that guy sucks. He also is like essentially enslaved his wife.
Yeah. It's also kind of uncomfortable. His relationship with Rei is also kind of uncomfortable.
It is
it is implied to be sexual, and Rei is a 14-year-old girl. She's not a real human being, but still, it's kind of weird.
It is very weird. Yeah. And the show has a lot of weird shit in it.
I gotta say, last night when I was watching Death True Squared, my sister has this thing where like before she goes to bed, she'll like go around the whole house and like make sure all the doors are locked and the windows are closed and all that. It was very weird, but it'll tend to happen when I'm downstairs watching something. And just so happened that she came down during the scene where Shinji is giving Rei her card. You know, the scene where he walks in on Rei naked and then he trips, falls onto her naked body. This is not good timing.
This is not what it looks like.
I don't think she cared. I don't even think she saw anything on the screen. But.
That honestly, every time that happened, because I watched the show and didn't that happen in the Rebuild movie too? Yeah, it happened in the show and the Rebuild movie, and I just had to not watch it both times.
It's a very uncomfortable scene.
Yeah,
because it's not even uncomfortable the fact that you're watching a naked 14-year-old. It's uncomfortable where it's like you're getting secondhand embarrassment from Shinji.
Yeah, I mean it's both.
It is a bit of both.
It's both for sure for me.
Because like Shinji, how the hell did you get into? How did you manage to fuck up this badly?
Just leave it at the door. No harm, no foul.
Yeah.
If she forgets it, she forgets it.
Yeah, and that's her own fault.
Yeah. I don't like. I would never walk in on someone's house or apartment or whatever because the door's unlocked.
Well, I mean, the mail was, stuff. She wasn't really checking her mail.
Just wait outside the door. She was gonna leave in like
I guess that is
5
fair.
minutes anyways.
Yeah, but Shinji doesn't know how to talk to people. That's the whole thing.
Oh, you know what? That's fair.
He doesn't know how to interact. It's the whole Hedgehog's dilemma.
That's fair.
It's the whole theme of the show.
I get. All right. Okay. All right. Anyways. Yeah, so we went over Misato.
I don't even remember what's up with Ritsuko.
I think she, like, her mom was, like, murdered by Gendo.
Yeah.
Because something with Rei.
Because I think she knew Rei was Yui.
Yeah. And then, like, I think her mom is, like, now the 3 computers.
Yeah, which is not even a thing in the Rebuild films.
Yeah, that's weird because those were like probably one of the coolest.
It was
aspects.
I like when I was watching Death True Squared last night. I'm like, oh, I totally forgot about this.
Yeah,
this is a thing.
I don't remember what they're called.
The Magi.
Yeah,
or Magi.
So sorry, what was her name again? The blonde scientist lady.
Ritsuko.
Yeah, so her mom turned herself into 3 computers to make like governmental decisions about like Tokyo 3 and stuff like that. Wow, we haven't even talked about Nerve. There's a lot to this show.
There's a lot to this show.
Oh my god. Well,
I haven't mentioned Sale.
TLDR, Nerve is just
Minerva is the
shadow
organization that has all the Evas.
Yeah, the very shadowy organization that's kind of making decisions in Tokyo 3 and like sending the Evas out and stuff like that.
And Sail is the one that's kind of pulling the strings, trying to get the Human Instrumentality Project going.
Yeah,
but also not. I don't know, man.
it's like a plan that they are trying to follow, but then Gendo is kind of following his own plan.
But like he also wants the Instrumentality Project to go through.
He wants it in his own way.
It's very confusing.
It is. I think he wants it to be able to reconnect with Yui.
Yeah.
But then Seal wants it for other reasons? Question mark. I don't really think.
Yeah.
I don't really think it even matters that much.
Not really.
But yeah, I mean that's kind of the deal. It's like all the major like organizations and like characters. Rei is weird to talk about because she's just not
Real.
Like she is the instrument for a lot of other people's plans, which
Yeah.
I think is her biggest kind of conflict. Because up until she meets Shinji, she's just nothing, and then Shinji kind of like asks her stuff and interacts with her, and that kind of like turns her into a person. And then she like dies another time, and then she's kind of the same thing. I don't know. I mean,
We've barely mentioned Kaworu.
oh yeah. I mean, he doesn't in the show. He's not there very much.
He's not in the rebuild that much either.
Well, in the third movie, he's kind of there. But in the show, he's like the last angel.
He's the last angel, yeah.
And him and Shinji like kind of hit it off a little bit.
They're kind of forming a romantic relationship, and then ends up, oh, Kaworu's an angel, and now Shinji has to, you know, struggle with having to kill Kaworu.
But he basically just gives up.
Yeah.
He said that living and death are all the same to me. And so I was like, oh, you know, that's kind of cool.
Have you heard? This is gonna sound really out of place, but I promise it has. There's context to it.
Okay.
Have you heard "Trapped in the Drive-Thru" by Weird Al?
I think I have, yeah.
Do you know the part of the song where the guy's looking at the cashier and he goes, and he looks at me, and I look at him?
Yeah.
When I was watching Death True, it was the scene where Shinji has Kaoru in Evil Unit 1's hands, and it's just on that scene for like, on that one frame for like a good, 60 seconds, and all I could think was that part.
Oh my
of the
God.
song. And I'm like, okay, I need to like go in and make that edit. I don't know if anyone's made that edit before, but if not, it's gonna be me.
You should do it and then put up a YouTube version of this and just have it in there.
I'm going to.
Please.
I really gotta do that. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Kaoru, my boy.
Rest in peace. He was cool.
It's cool. He's got red eyes.
He played the piano.
He did. He didn't play the piano in the in the show. I don't think.
Oh.
Yeah. Because like before I had rewatched the Rebuild stuff. A lot of the stuff in the Rebuild blended together with the show.
Yeah, that was kind of my problem. Yeah.
But
wow.
Yeah, it's weird how it blends together so well.
It is weird. I feel like that's why I'm kind of leaning towards liking a lot of the aspects of the Rebuild movies more, because they seem a little bit more.
That's interesting. I think a lot of people prefer the show.
I still like the show.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff that I think the show
absolutely
does better. But we'll talk about the Rebuild movies we'll talk about the Rebuild movies
next time.
The last thing I wanted to talk about, or I guess ask about, was the angel fights. Which one of them was like your favorite? Because I have an opinion.
Okay.
I really think that like the diamond one, Ramiel?
I think it is Ramiel.
I thought that was one of like the coolest fights ever. In the Rebuild movies and in the show, and like the regular show. And then also the last one before Kaoru or whatever, however you say his name. I don't remember the name of that one, but it's got like the weird like lanky kind of arms that are like kind of papery or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, him. Man, you really needed to watch this show. I see the confusion on your face.
Yeah, again, it's been a couple years, and the hour-long condensation that was Death True Squared just left me more confused. I think mine was fighting Unit 3.
Yeah. No, that one was also
that's just
cool.
so like unsettling to watch.
It was really unsettling.
Because it's just so over-the-top violent.
I honestly kind of forgot about it. But yeah.
And the fact that, one of Shinji's actual friends is the one piloting it is even more, distressing.
Yeah, no, that was, I was very stressed out about that while watching it, because I was like, no, it's Toji in there. No.
And then I don't even think we really see Toji anymore after that. It's implied he survives, but...
He survives, and you do see him, but he's like crippled. But he survives. He's okay, I think.
I don't think we see Kensuke either.
No.
He's just gone.
Yeah, no, I think after that, that's kind of when shit kind of flies off the rails and everyone leaves. Yeah, no, I mean, personally, all the angel fights in the show are really cool.
They're all great, yeah.
But those were standouts for me, those three.
So anything more you want to add about Neon Genesis Evangelion?
Watch it.
Oh, yeah?
Because a lot of people I've talked to haven't. And yeah, it's weird. And there's a lot of shit in there that's like really cringy. And
it did take me a bit because like I had tried watching it maybe 2 or 3 times before I like sat down to watch it for Shin Godzilla, and it never really clicked with me.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I did stick it out for Shin Godzilla because it ended up being really good, and now here I am doing a whole podcast on it.
Yeah, we're gonna do 2 podcasts.
2 podcasts. Yeah, remember? Yeah, this is a 2-parter.
2-parter.
You ever heard of a 2-part podcast episode? I haven't. We're breaking new ground here on Talking Toku.
I'm sure someone's done it before.
Yeah. Let me live my life.
Okay.
Let me dream.
Anyways, well, you're gonna have to watch all the Rebuild movies because I'm not carrying that one.
I did. I already did.
Good. I
watched You Cannot Redo the day before I brought it to you.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay.
Don't worry. We're all good.
Okay. Well, I don't really have anything else to add about the show.
Okay.
Other than definitely watch it. Again, there's a lot of it that is just kind of weird, but I feel like even if you take out some of like the really like bit of like bad, cringe, kind of like disgusting stuff, I feel like the show might be lesser. Because a lot of it kind of adds to like the biblical kind of like setting. Because like, I don't know. It doesn't really like, I mean, the beginning of End of Evangelion you can completely get rid of. I wouldn't care if that left. But some of like the weird shit, like the weird imagery and like the nudity of the show, which I told you I was not expecting. I feel like if you took that away, like it would be kind of like it just kind of fits with like the biblicalness of the show in a sense. I don't know. Cuz like you see that shit in like movies that have to deal with like angels and demons and shit, and it kind of like goes hand in hand and whatever, cuz it's like the primal form of man, and whatever. I still think it's weird. Yeah. But whatever. That's just my thought on it. Yeah. Good show. Good.
All right.
Well, you're going to have to do a lot of editing because this was all over the place.
Again, it probably won't be that much worse than the Ultra Q episode.
No, that Ultra Q episode was crazy.
Yeah. So let's move on.
Okay.
So other than Evangelion, Brian, have you been checking out any cool new kaiju stuff lately?
No.
Oh.
But I am going to be watching Godzilla vs. Hedorah.
You said that last time.
I said that last time, but I was too busy watching Evangelion.
Oh, wow.
So now I'm actually going to watch it because I have some time. And then I was going to watch, I was going to watch Shin Godzilla because its 5th anniversary was...
That's true. Yeah, it was the 5th anniversary.
Not long ago.
It was around the same time as the 50th of her Hedorah.
Yeah, it was not...
Well,
it was probably like a couple weeks after.
I think you're missing one pretty big thing. Because the new kaiju thing I checked out was the Suicide Squad.
Oh my god.
And listen, you may be thinking, hey, the Suicide Squad, that's not a kaiju movie. And let me tell you, the word kaiju is dropped in the trailer because leave it to James Gunn to introduce Starro in a feature film. What a guy.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I get that it's not,
There's also a giant shark.
He's not giant.
He's giant for me.
He's about the normal size of a shark, just
No.
A great white shark.
No.
Whatever. Anyways, yeah, it's not totally a kaiju movie, but like the Starro stuff is legitimately like phenomenal. Like Jared, I think in his review for it said like, yeah, Starro's Rampage is like better than anything the MonsterVerse has done. So yeah.
Oh hell yeah. Oh, you'll love to see it.
Yeah, no, but the Suicide Squad is phenomenal. Like, I think it might be my favorite film from James Gunn.
Is it better than
Yes.
Suicide Squad?
Yes. Yes. Brian, it's a very low bar, and you should know that.
That movie's so bad.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, everyone, like, for a film with that many characters, I'm surprised by how many of the characters I actually really, really liked.
Is Arm Fall Off Boy okay?
TDK, which stands for the detachable kid, is one of the casualties early on.
No.
It's not really spoilers because it happens in the first 5 minutes of the movie, but like,
No.
there are two teams, and the first team is just slaughtered
Oh no.
in the first like 5 minutes, and it's hilarious.
Nathan Fillion, no. That's so,
The first death is the best, though. I'm not going to spoil it.
that's so
But it's
sad.
the first death is like, it got like the first big laugh out of me
Oh my
because
god.
it was just so unexpected.
I'm so
and
sad.
it's such a stupid death too, and like even all the characters are like, are you fucking kidding me right now? It's really good.
I have to watch this.
You
Okay.
really have to
You know
watch
what?
it.
This is what I'm checking out today. That's
You're gonna watch Suicide Squad tonight? Please do.
The new kaiju thing I'm checking out
Yeah.
is the Suicide Squad today. Wow.
You will not regret it. It's so funny.
Well, I think both of us are going to be watching Evangelion 3.1 plus 1.1
Yeah, we will.
next week. And all of them are going to be dropping on Amazon. Which is
I believe
weird
so.
because you're going to have Evangelion the show
On Netflix
And
and,
then
the
end up-
movies on. Yeah, it's kind of weird. I was also watching Ultraman Trigger, which Brian, you should watch that so we can do an episode on Ultraman Trigger when it wraps.
Okay.
Because
What's it on?
YouTube. It's on Suberdaya Productions YouTube channel.
Link it to me
I will.
and I'll watch it.
I was surprised because I thought they were going to be taking the episodes down after 2 weeks like they were doing the Ultraman Z, but they're not. So
Maybe they're leaving it up for us.
for us,
Us
but I've been keeping up.
specifically.
I've been keeping up.
Us
So maybe
specifically.
just you.
And maybe just me. Just like that fucking guy didn't watch Ultra Q for like 2 years, so we have to keep it up for 2
Yeah.
years.
But yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying it. I don't know if I'm enjoying it as much as I enjoyed Ultraman Z. I do like that the main character, Kengo, he has a flower that he named Rulia.
That's a nice name.
Yeah. Apparently, like, the Lovecraftian gods are like an actual thing in Ultraman lore. Like,
Okay.
Ultraman Tiga fought multiple Lovecraftian gods and killed them. I've never watched Tiga, so I don't know if that's true. But
All right, well, if there's anything that's going to go against Lovecraftian
it's
mythology,
It's fighting Ultraman.
it's killing the Lovecraftian gods.
Brian, this is Ultraman.
Okay.
I think you're underestimating Ultraman.
Okay.
But yeah,
Oh no, we didn't talk about the Jet Jaguar reference
Oh,
in
yeah.
Evangelion.
yeah. Jet alone is Jet Jaguar. There you go.
Really out of place. There
yeah,
you go.
I'll put it in somewhere. Maybe I'll just leave it here. I don't know.
All right.
But
Okay.
yeah. Ultraman Trigger is cool. Got some. I really like Trigger's design,
All right.
and I like that they have an alien Metron on the team. I don't know what its name is. I can't remember.
Alien.
No.
Okay.
But is anything else you want to add, Brian?
No,
All right.
I'm good.
Well, I think that's it for today then.
Okay.
So hope you guys enjoyed, and don't forget to check back in a couple weeks for our part 2 of our Evangelion Extravaganza, where we'll be covering the Rebuild of Evangelion quadrilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Hope you enjoy.
Yeah.
Follow us on Twitter and Facebook and maybe Instagram.
Instagram coming soon.
Coming soon. Probably.
I will be the owner of it.
Yeah.
Probably.
Okay. Sure. But yeah, follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Talking Toku. Instagram coming soon, also at Talking Toku, I imagine.
Yep.
I am your host, David Scrivani.
I'm your co-host, Brian Kershaw.
All right, bye.
Bye.